future, it's Glot. You're listening to Glot. Glot. It's all Glot.
This episode is partially sponsored by Fleishik's Magazine. Fleishik's Magazine is something we are personally very passionate about, but we're really excited to let you know about our upcoming Shavuos issue. Every single year we come out with Milchiks. So it's our once a year Milchiks edition.
It's the Fleishik's Milchiks issue.
Yes. And that is coming out. You can order it as a single issue on our website at Kosherdotcom.
You can order Milchiks on Kosherdotcom.
Yes. But you can also subscribe to the magazine. You get 11 issues a year, and you also get access to hundreds of recipes on our app, which is exclusive to our subscribers and hosts all our previously published recipes. So even if you subscribe today, you have access to years worth of content. Fleishiks.com, use code.
It's worthwhile investment.
What code should they use?
Code GLAT.
Use code GLOT.
GLATT, uppercase.
For?
To get 18% off.
Use code GLOT to get 18% off.
This episode is brought to you by Tuscanini's Maldon salt. It comes in regular sea salt flakes and smoked sea salt flakes.
This is the funniest thing about these ad reads because I sometimes don't even know the products because it's like your department. We're very like separate departments. And so I show up and here we have a new product I didn't know about.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. It's not like they sent it to us and let us know. I was in Gourmet Glatt and I saw them. I'm like, oh, okay.
Really?
Gotta pick these up and
That's so funny. Okay, so Gourmet Glatt is like the place to find the new products.
But tell us about these. I mean, we use the Maldon salt.
It's the ultimate finishing touch to any dish.
We're getting ASMR here, so I was wondering what that noise is.
Let's go. Ooh. It's the ultimate finishing touch to any dish. Maldon salt, it's crunchy, it's salty, it's so good. And the smoked sea salt, it's the same crunchy texture. And it also has that visual appeal, like when you sprinkle it over something. But the smoky salt adds that smoky flavor. So
and it has that pyramid look.
Yeah, so it's just like a beautiful finishing touch to any dish. You just want a little pop of something special. And it crunches in your mouth and then melts to provide like a really good salty feeling in your mouth. And it like melts all over. It's really, really good. I love
it. I love Maldon salt. Liebe loves Maldon salt. I don't know anyone that wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's a good one.
Get some Maldon salt, and I like the smoked one, so at least
also,
try it
I
out.
think that like it's really cool for people who are like going low salt because you don't like you could skip the salt, let's say in the food that you're making, and then do a finishing salt on top.
You get away with
because
less.
A little bit goes a long way.
Good tip. You heard it here.
Yes.
This episode is brought to you by Golden Flow's new cold brew coffee. It comes in 2 sizes. Personal size, and I think it's a full gallon, like a big one.
Okay.
Shifra, you are into cold brew, so I really think you should be telling us what is special about cold brew. What is special about
Cold brew is really
this?
cool because it's made with coarsely ground coffee beans, fresh coffee beans, and instead of being heated, the beans are soaked in water and then it's strained. So it's a much smoother, cleaner coffee flavor, and usually it's less acidic. So it's a very nice, fresh version of coffee.
Yes, I do find it's not as bitter, not as strong.
Yeah.
Would you say it's not as strong? It's a little bit more mild?
Some cold brews are stronger in the coffee flavor, but I feel like the sometimes acidic after effects of coffee you don't get with cold brew. So it's really, really nice. It's really refreshing, just in time for summer. And all you do is just, I mean, personally pour it over ice and milk. You could also put your favorite
It's good you caught yourself
syrups.
because I would have contradicted you.
Why? What would you have said?
Contradict you. I would have said all you do is put ice and milk and then your favorite flavored syrup.
Yeah.
I do flavors. Shifra is a purist. You're going to try it?
Yeah.
Another thing, this is under the CRC. It's got a Hamish Hashgacha. I think it's the only one on the market that does have a Hamish Hashgacha. So,
really nice aroma. Smells like, you know, that coffee comfort?
Yeah.
You get it when you open it up.
Amazing.
That's very nice and smooth. It's not at all bitter. It's a beautiful
look for it
cold brew.
in the fridge section of your local kosher supermarket. Golden Flow's new cold brew coffee.
Also, by the way, just in time for summer, blend it with a scoop of ice cream and you have yourself a coffee milkshake. Yeah, so this is an interesting thing for us because usually, as Shlomi mentioned on our Instagram story just a second ago, we're usually the ones traveling to the Lower East Side to the Nachum Segal studios.
I almost felt bad making him schlep out here. Although the truth is, Nachum is not shy or old to travel.
Well, I'm not against coming out here. I just the way things are in New York now, between traffic and scheduling,
yes.
it's impossible. But thank God,
we
everything
live in
worked out.
five towns, and we know like every direction you go, you've got the belt on the one side is a disaster, the Van Wyck on the other
The
side.
Van Wyck, since we moved here, is not even drivable. Right. I don't know what it is, but that's a. We'll have the mayor on next.
It's one of the
week.
things we miss about living in Crown Heights. Crown Heights somehow just felt really central. It was
Yeah.
easy to get to everywhere.
Yeah, but I think
didn't
things
realize.
changed with the speed cameras, by the way.
Oh, the camera,
Yeah,
the
it makes
speed
everyone
limits.
started to drive really slow. So,
But
So on
yeah,
Eastern Parkway, 35 is the maximum.
25.
Right, but 35 till you get a ticket.
35.
Right? I don't care about the official maximum.
It's 34. It's 34.
It's right. It's
You have to go
34.
9 under. I
you're
used to
setting-
fly down Eastern Parkway.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you can only
Anyway.
fly between where you know the cameras are.
Yeah.
Correct.
But like talking about the past, I have this like memory of being like, I think I must have been 16, 18, I'm not sure. Me and my friend went to Dougie's in Brooklyn on 18th Avenue. And we didn't know, but Nachum Segal was there. You were doing a live show.
Oh, wow.
You were throwing out frisbees.
Halftime-
Do you remember?
halftime show?
Oh, wow.
Do
If
you
it's
remember?
the Frisbee era,
It was a halftime
then
show.
we're talking about, it wasn't a halftime show, but it was way before the halftime show. But if it's a Frisbee era, we're talking about a long time ago. How do I know that? Because Frisbees eventually were outlawed.
Outlaw.
Because I used to throw them at the live shows, and I used to throw them to the audience during concerts until the concert where a kid was running after the Frisbee and smashed his chin against
man.
a chair.
Welcome to America.
Exactly.
So now it's your-
And I was told and warned, you better stop this because someone's really going to get hurt. And sure enough, yeah.
Oh,
Someone
wow.
did. But no, and then someone will sue you. for
Yeah, of
like
course. Oh, are you
$7
kidding? For sure.
Yeah.
Well, one thing. Well, now that you already touched on a subject, and we love talking about travel, we love talking about all our stories, but he just very casually, you touched on Dougie's. And I think between us, we all do have this little passion about food.
Yes.
A little bit.
A little bit.
little.
And like Dougie's is one of the OGs. Come
Dougie's
on,
was,
the
yeah.
wings and their poppers.
Do you remember the lines to get into Dougie's?
The lines were insane, but it's not just the wings and poppers. The blooming onion was
Blooming onion.
introduced.
Yep. OG.
That's what you touched on. They introduced a new cuisine to Kosherdotcom.
Right. And I'll tell you another thing. Who ever thought of ordering a rack of ribs before
Right.
Dougie's?
True.
Yes.
Nobody thought of that.
Yes.
And they kept doing it. They kept adding chef salad and even Caesar salad. Like, I mean, there was stuff that was there that everyone else copied
Yeah.
eventually.
Right.
There were a few
100%.
people. There were a few people or restaurants who really shaped the way our restaurants and foods are today.
Right.
Even I
Right.
think they were also the ones who started the chips and salsa in the middle of the meal.
Correct.
Right.
Your father spent a long time recreating that
He
salsa.
recreated it though.
He really does. I think like one of the chapsas that had oregano in there has a little bit
It's a
of
whole
honey,
process.
a
Some
sweetness.
things are sauteed, some things are fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're going to give credit to Bernstein's for a certain era,
Right.
you know, if we're going to give credit, and we're going to give credit to Ratner's for the dairy side of
Yeah.
that, you know, revolution of the mid 20th century, then certainly Dougie's gets late 20th century credit for really an entire movement. If you would have walked into Kosher Delight, which I'm sure you and I did many
Yeah.
times,
Yep.
in the post intro to Dougie's era, the entire Dougie's menu is being done at Kosher Delight. They
Right.
brought in buffalo wings and they brought in ribs and and I'm just using them as an example.
Yes.
100%.
Because they saw this is, my gosh, this is what everybody wants and this is the trend.
No, but
and what's amazing to me is that Dougie's in some iterations, I guess most successfully in Bergen County and in the Catskills, is still around, which
Yeah.
is unbelievable. 30.
We
plus
feel
years
that the one in the country, the one
the
in
one in the
in
Catskills.
Woodburn, that feels like they've
The OG. They've kept the
they've
process.
whether
But
it's
they
a
have a
recipe,
major
there's a
advantage.
technique.
What's
What is
their
that?
advantage?
As we
Freshness.
always, freshness. Everything has to be fresh.
Yes,
It's
that is
impossible.
true.
They can't keep up. You can't possibly make anything stale because the turnover is so amazing.
True.
That's an
Just
excellent
fast.
point. Like that's the secret to like sometimes really good food. It's the freshness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that
Yeah.
was to me the secret to Kosher Delight, especially the Manhattan and Flatbush
Yeah.
parts.
Was the
It,
freshness.
it was you knew
Yeah.
that roll, that burger, that hot dog is going to be
Yeah, that's very, very true. Do you know, or does anything come to mind? Like since Dougie's, is there any establishment that has really revolutionized?
made that type of impact.
Yeah.
Where you'd actually name an era after them.
Yeah,
I'd have to think about that.
yeah, it's something to think about.
There are
Besides Dougie's at the time, I remember, I think Circa was one of them.
Right.
Because they did the salads
Yeah,
and the
the
salad
salad
bars.
bars.
And Circle also went the route of franchising or
Yes.
expanding.
That's why, so they were like more
So
than
they
just
had
one
more of a
location.
reputation,
that's
et cetera.
interesting.
What Batiste tried and
Right.
is somewhat successful at.
I think they're coming back now. They
Right.
actually
So
are
they're somewhat
opening more
successful at
branches.
that. But I'm trying to think if
Was
there's
anything
another.
exciting on the Lower East Side?
Which one?
Was there? I'm asking, was there anything? Or
Well, you have to remember, I'm a rookie in the Lower East Side. I'm only there since I got married.
okay,
So when I got there, Bernstein's was closing a couple of years later. The Grand
where were
Deli,
you from before?
Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're a Jersey boy.
Yeah. I mean, you're a Crown Heights couple.
Yes.
Yeah, he's from Johannesburg.
I was born. I was
Johannesburg.
born in Crown Heights.
But
But
he
you'd,
was born in Brooklyn.
you've heard of the Morristown Rabbinical College.
Yes,
course,
that's,
of course.
yeah, we've heard of
So
that.
where did it move? How did it move to Morristown? From
came
where?
from Newark?
From Grumman Avenue in Newark, New Jersey.
Interesting.
Very
Yes, I think
cool.
Rabbi Gordon was actually a sheikh
Correct.
at the time. Yes.
In fact, my father, Rabbi Segal, of blessed memory, was the one who placed Rabbi Gordon in Beth Israel Hospital as the chaplain. And Rabbi Gordon, I mean, we're talking about a legendary shliach. He's
Yes.
actually buried like 3 spots from the Lubavitcher Rebbe.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
when people visit the oil. It's funny. We were just talking about Rabbi Gordon the other day and the impact he had on that community. It was really, what an amazing man he was. But anyway, yeah, so Newark and then the Oranges. And then when I got married, Lower East Side, there was the Grand Deli, of course. The Grand Deli had I don't know if we can call it era, call it an era, but there was definitely an appeal. They tried to reproduce because they used the chef from Bernstein's. They tried to
interesting.
reproduce that experience and they did it pretty well for folks who were doing it, 15 years after
Okay.
Bernstein's was gone. But down there, I think that's all I really remember.
But no one ever really recreated Bernstein's.
No.
No.
Unless you want to say,
Essen?
right. Well, Essen, by the way, Essen, again, might have, again, I don't know if we can name an era after them,
Okay.
but their impact is immense.
Uh-huh.
And
But it
talk
is
about
interesting.
freshness and talk
Yeah,
about
they
turnover.
do. Yeah, they do.
But you just
incredible.
mentioned like the chef came from Bernstein's to
Right, to Grand
Grand's.
Deli.
But like even someone like Essen, I know Yitzis has like their recipe and technique for their what do they call it? Their honey barbecue.
Yeah,
Their
everyone
pastrami.
talks about the honey beef.
So he's actually trained other places, and I actually know that he trained someone, and they're actually training someone else. So it's like really has gotten that technique, and the recipe has been passed.
And if
on.
I'm not mistaken, and the food historians can correct me, but I think that that one of the significant people in Bernstein's ended up opening Traditions here in,
oh wow,
if I'm not
Interesting.
mistaken.
It
Okay.
could be.
either a family member or an actual partner.
and Traditions has a location here in Five Towns.
And
have one in
they
Boca.
are also, Traditions is known for its
here in the Five Towns for
excellent
sure.
cuisine, and
Yes.
all these
Yeah.
years later. So.
Yes, real
Right,
deli.
like traditional Jewish American
Yeah.
deli.
And done well.
It's very cool. So you go from Newark to the Lower East Side. When do you start with radio?
Well, I went from Newark to the Oranges.
what came
my
first, the
father's,
radio or the
my
MC?
father's synagogue moved to South Orange, and then in 1983, as I was still single and living in the Oranges, this opportunity through, you can read about it in the book, but this opportunity came straight from God, and not
Give
only
us a ChatGPT version. a Kitzer.
and not only was I hired to do this Jewish show, which existed on a radio station that was known and still is known as WFMU, but it was actually in East Orange, New Jersey.
Oh wow!
So I had to get up really early in the morning, but at least
Did you know someone? Did you have the experience of sort of like as the son of a rabbi? Maybe you had a lot of public speaking experience.
No, the only
So where
experience
does the
I had
hosting offer come from?
when I was at Yeshiva University, I was at WYUR because again, as
okay.
you'll read in the book, my mother said to me that when you go to YU, check out the radio station. I think it's something you'll enjoy.
Oh,
That's what she said
okay.
to me.
That's a good
Always
Jewish
listen to your mother.
Yeah.
Wow. So she knew you were destined
Right.
for greatness.
So there's this whole story there about how I actually got a slot there at WYUR. And then 2 years later, when WFMU was searching to see if they can keep this Jewish show going, because it was teetering a bit, the person responsible for the search called Yeshiva University, asked for the director of student activities or dean of student activities, who happened to be a mentor of mine, and said, "We're desperate. Do you have anybody?" And he said, "I'll have someone for you." And he knew 20 minutes later I was hired.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he knew that I would want it. I'd give my right arm to do it.
What was it? Was it your voice?
But what was it that I enjoyed about radio? First of all,
What got you hired?
oh, what got me hired is I was willing to actually get up and do the show. Like, they couldn't care less how talented I was, as long as someone was ready to commit to keep the show going.
I think we're lucky, man. If your mother would have told you to go to Hollywood, then we would have missed out on some really good morning radio, some good podcasts, some good shows, some good concerts.
Life is funny, huh?
No, but you really have that
The presence.
coming soon.
Vocally, yeah.
You know, our son actually every once in a while does that.
With a movie trailer voice?
Yeah, that voice.
In a world where...
yeah. So that, and once again, I'm guessing once you started the radio side, it also moved into like the emceeing of concerts and stuff like that.
That was also a little bit just, of fate or coincidence, but yeah, and it was something I enjoyed. I was not good at it, and I mean, I could say in radio also I wasn't good at it at the beginning. It takes a lot of training to navigate the stage, and especially at my size, frankly, to navigate the stage and listen to the right advice, and to know how to control a crowd, which now, thank God, I have the ability to do. Although certain crowds in our community are very difficult, frankly, but that's a story for another day.
That's interesting. That's actually interesting that people don't realize. Like, it never occurred to me as the MC that you're considering.
You're in charge of getting everyone quiet and make noise.
That is hard.
It is an acquired skill that must be worked on constantly.
Really? And what do you have to do to get?
Well, I don't know if it's describable, but I would say that the combination of the cadence of one's voice, the speed or lack of speed of what they're saying, how they presented, the words that you use, carefully chosen words that you use. That's why you go to a chuppah and people make an announcement, please shut your phones, everybody be quiet, and the whole place is talking the entire time.
Right.
I am proud to say that if I get up before a chuppah and navigate if I navigate the crowd the way I know how to do, in 99% of the cases, you're going to have a very quiet chuppah. There is 1% where our community isn't possible to deal with. But, so
interesting. Wait, where does the music come in? Were you always into music?
No. In fact, again, you'll see in the book that I knew nothing about Jewish music, and the only reason I was at all involved in it is because when I was online to get a slot at WYUR, like everybody else, I wrote I wanted to do a pop music show, rock and roll or current music. And the guy standing in front of me asked me, "What are you applying for?" And I told him. He said, "Well, I'm just letting you know, if you apply as a freshie, if you apply for a rock and roll show, there's like a 30% chance you'll get it. If you apply for a Jewish music show, there's a 100% chance you'll get it." So I quickly erased my thing about Jewish music. I was on the air the following Thursday night.
Awesome.
A once a week show.
One second. Once I have you here and we're live, I managed to find a picture. I just searched my photos for CDs. Okay. And I want to know something, Nachum. Who has a bigger CD collection, me or you?
Well, unfortunately, you know that whatever CDs I had,
up until 2 years ago,
up until a couple of years ago, we
stumbled into that one.
We had a significant CD collection.
Oh my gosh!
But
wait, that was a triggering interruption.
You think you're traumatized by this?
Oh boy. Oh my God! But by the way, I do remember. I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of these actually survived the fire.
Yes.
Okay, so wait, your studio went on fire?
The studio completely was consumed by a fire. 99% of what we had was gone. The luck was, and there's a whole chapter about the fire in the book. The lucky part was that there's a scrapbook that we've been keeping, 20-volume scrapbook of the first 40 years of my career. Wow. And because that, you've seen the studio, so because that was located at the very, very front of the studio in a small bookcase, that was the only thing that survived. And that was...
Oh, wow. So at least you have that.
Yes.
Because the studio itself was just this iconic place of Jewish...
We should walk our listeners through it. It's like we would come to the Lower East Side. The first thing I remember is that you come to Manhattan and we were always able to find parking. It may not have been right outside.
That's a miracle.
There always was
the Lower
parking.
East Side did have when we came.
Yeah,
and you had your few kosher stores there, that little supermarket. Right. I think there's a small butchery nearby.
Right. Maybe a bakery or something.
Yes, there's a bakery as well.
You go upstairs. Obviously, you come in and you've got that blinking light, with
light.
the recording.
Yeah.
And if you need the bathroom, you have to get the key to go down the hall. But that really was, something.
Well, we referred to it as the Jewish Broadcasting Hall of Fame because
that's a good
what was on the walls and what we had on the studio tables was literally memorabilia from, the prior 40 years, which was just
Incredible.
crazy.
And every time there was a new song, there was a new concert, everyone came to your studio to
Correct.
promote. What was
Yeah.
that like? Like meeting all the Jewish musicians and being in that industry a little bit?
That was nice. I mean,
Because it was like something you not expect. Like it's not like you
Right.
entered this thinking you're now going to
Correct.
become the place.
to be the address where people felt they had to
Yeah.
come to debut an album or to release concert information, etc.
And to release shows like food shows like Kosher Palooza.
Right. And look, today there's a million outlets, but I'm proud to say that we're at least one of the significant ones still. Then there were 2 or 3 and we were significant. Now there's 1,000 and we're significant. So,
No, you're still very significant.
Very.
And I think you still have a very large, loyal crowd. Definitely the older generation. Everyone knew you and still knows you and still listens.
Thank God.
And
Yeah.
we're honored that,
So you
that you
keep
made
on
it.
yeah, it's very cool. But you keep on mentioning the book.
Right.
Yes, okay, let's
What's
talk-
the book called?
It's 1.8 million minutes and counting. My first 40
very
years in
cool.
Jewish broadcasting.
That is fascinating.
And that
I
was
love
really
the title of the book.
The title of the book, which Shlomi Ash, the great Shlomi Ash, who I'm sure you guys know,
We know him as Sam Ash.
as Sam Ash, right?
Oh, okay.
So he came up with the title, and really just to try to express the enormity.
Oh, that's his title?
Yeah, to express the enormity. Well, who else?
By the way, we could do a whole episode.
By the way, if I would
about
just see this on a
Shlomi Ash.
random book, I would think it's him, no matter what. Like I read,
True.
if I go through the Jewish newspapers or even Fleischnick's magazine, I
Yeah.
can tell you which ads he's responsible for. But it's enormous. 1.8 million minutes, and obviously more since then. And it's just been, they talk about Hall of Famers being, compilers or superstars. I would like to think that we have a little
Ooh,
bit
I
of
love
both.
I love it. He has
I
the
love the
pictures. I was going to ask
pictures.
if you
Yeah.
have pictures in there.
Pictures are
I
great.
love
That is amazing. Wow.
So we did it by topic. Family, Zionism.
Oh, JM and the AM. I do remember
sure.
listening to that in the morning. Oh, so it's divided by topics.
JM and the AM
Yeah.
is still around.
Sure is. Every
Yeah.
Every
single
morning,
morning.
6 o'clock.
6 a.m. every morning.
Yeah, that's the hard
station
one.
is it on?
Whenever I want to
Not
go
on the
on.
station. For the last 9 years, we've been an all-digital network,
Okay.
Nachum Segal network.
Very
and JM
cool.
and AM is the flagship show of that network.
And it's you do it live in the
Yeah,
morning?
live every morning. It used to be people had a lot of trouble trying to get the radio station I was on. Now you can
Yeah.
be in Antarctica and get it
It's so
clearly on
cool.
the app, which is amazing.
It's interesting. So like you had to navigate through the change
Right.
in media because
Right.
people went from just radio to then everything is online. And then the irony of podcasts, I'm sure all radio people think podcasts are hilarious.
It's almost like the bloggers
It's like
thinking
it's
the
just a different name
Instagrammers.
of the same
Yeah,
thing.
hilarious is the wrong
Not
word.
hilarious. What's the word? What's the word?
It's challenging.
I think that I would love if people just understood the difference between a broadcast and a podcast.
Okay, let's talk.
Chief among those differences, especially in my case, is that every single weekday for 3 hours,
Yep.
live every single day, I have to present something that's engaging to the audience.
There's
It
no
could be
editing.
music, it could be interviews, it could be news, it could be fun stuff or very serious stuff.
One thing, so what do you do if you were sick?
I have a staff. That
You
we
had
have
someone that
substitutes.
would kick in?
Sure, of course. We still do.
Wow.
If I'm not around. The
Oh, so
show's
there's no-
live every
there's-
day.
There's no break.
The one, it's besides not the break, the one sort of the most challenging thing in my mind is the no editing.
Right.
Like
Correct.
you're live, so whatever
By the way,
is
it's
said,
so funny.
Correct.
You look at it that as being tough, and I look at it like, what a mechaya. Because you don't have to deal with it after. You're done,
interesting.
you put it live,
Right.
and
Right.
whatever it is, it is.
Right. If
Which
I'm,
is also
if I'm
minus.
recording a spot or a commercial or something and I make a mistake and I have to go over it, it is so frustrating to me because I'm so used to just presenting and never have to worry about that stuff
Yeah.
because
Right.
whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah, that's
it.
it.
It's interesting how different people relate to different experiences in a different way.
Right.
I deal with the editing after, and I'm like, that was the first thing I thought. Live? What a mechaya.
The other thing
so
I'll say
true.
about podcasting is, so I think that's a big difference, live every day, etc. But the other thing I'll say is that whenever, and I used to say this, by the way, in radio also, but way before podcasting, so I'm being consistent. But when someone announces that they are doing a podcast, right? 2025, I'm doing a
Yeah.
podcast. Speak to me in 100 weeks. In 100 weeks, tell me
Yes.
how often you've presented, how consistent it was, how reliable people can be that at specific time, specific day, each and every week, it drops, etc.
Oh, it's not
etc.
easy. It is
No.
not easy.
It is
can
not
attest
easy
to
at all.
that because 4 years ago we had our youngest, And
We had an idea to
in
do
the
it.
height of postpartum, we decided to launch a podcast. And so we launched it. We recorded 3 episodes in our kitchen. That's
That's where this is from.
Is that.
Yep. It was
And
called
then-
Of Course.
Yeah. And we had 3 episodes and then no episodes after. It was over.
It's very
And the
challenging.
only reason literally that we're doing this podcast consistently is because we're doing it with Kosherdotcom and we have to.
Wow.
I'm
Yep.
going to be honest. Like we didn't have that
The commitment, right?
commitment, like we have so many other things going on. So on a personal level, like the motivation and like to have to do it.
But I think the
Because
people
it
that
really
are
is
doing
hard.
it, the people that are doing consistently, who are like you were doing consistently, they're doing it as a full-time job.
Right.
There are people today who have built their podcast, and that is what they
Correct.
do. That's almost that's probably the most similar to someone who was
Correct.
broadcasting.
Those are people who take it really seriously, have good producers who are helping them, really build the show.
I see a similarity between this idea that you're talking about, Lahavdil, and the blogger world. When Instagram came out, there were bloggers, and people would go on Instagram, and all of a sudden they'd make an account, and within a few months they could have grown, and the bloggers were like, "You're not a blogger, you're an Instagrammer. It's not the same thing."
Right.
Then TikTok came out, and people grew quickly, and everyone was like, "No, you're not an Instagrammer, you're not an influencer, you're a TikToker."
Everyone stay in your lane. But it feels a little bit like, you're doing something, you establish something, and there's so much hard work that goes into it, and it's a very unique industry. And then something else comes along
Right.
and it's just like, oh, we're going to do it. And it's like, it's very jarring.
Well, you have to decide not only how to adjust, you have to decide, is it worth adjusting?
Interesting.
Like you have to, make it's really a 2-stage, 2-tier plan. But what's the pressure that makes you release your magazine on time every month?
Ooh, you don't have a choice.
If
That's it.
Kosher.com is responsible for this get together, why is it that? And I'm really. By
You
the
want to
way,
know the answer to that question?
You know I'm a major fan.
Yep.
Of Fleischer's magazine,
Thank you.
and I'm not the biggest foodie.
Oh, actually, thank you for sending Stacy last week, 2 weeks ago.
Right, she was at the
She
event.
came
It was
to the
very
Tuna
nice
event.
to see
It
her,
was
yeah.
nice to see you guys
No, it was
have
the
her.
cookbook.
And she
author.
challenged-
Correct.
And
The cookbook author event.
Right. At
Kosher.
Kosherdotcom, she challenged me to see if I knew who she was. I was like, seriously?
We know you.
Come on.
That's great. Yeah, she always says, "If I'm not with you, nobody knows who I
No,
am."
Yeah.
we recognized her.
But what gets us going? Our tuition.
Right, because you know
Yeah.
that the
still need to put
advertisers and
some,
contributors will not be happy if you don't make your deadline.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it was funny when Milchik's magazine showed up at my door, which I think was last Monday. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think it was last
could be,
Monday.
yep.
I'm saying to myself, wow, Shavuos is Sunday night. They released this like at the perfect time. It would arrive at the perfect time before Yom Tov. In order to meet that deadline,
Oh, it's one of our
the
most challenging ones.
all-nighters that you have to pull and the things that you have to adjust and the contributors and advertisers that you have to be in touch with because they're all trying to meet your deadline. That's impossible for so many of them.
If we're coming out, then you're going to print right after Pesach.
Right.
No one's thinking Shavuos. In the
Correct.
Hamish world, you know how it is.
Correct.
Everyone's thinking Shavuos a week before Shavuos.
Right.
It's very challenging.
I mean, that's very cool that you really were able to understand that.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I
Crazy.
have a
Where's
question.
your head now in Rosh Hashanah or Sukkot
Yeah,
already?
Rosh Hashanah.
It is already on Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, it's Rosh Hashanah.
It's a combination of the next 3 issues, but yes, already Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the show. I know you travel a lot. I know you did Israel.
Right. Well, we do Israel constantly.
Yeah. What was the most interesting place you took? You took.
I
Jamin and
think
took-
that the most interesting. There's a lot. There are a couple of major tours we did in Europe, but I think the
You ever did
most.
South Africa.
We never did South Africa. We had South Africa on the calendar, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. But that's a whole separate story.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting for me was the UAE, and I'll tell you
that
why.
sounds very cool.
Because this
After the Abraham Accords.
yes, immediately after, where someone said to us, everyone's going to be going. If you guys don't go now, it's not going to be a big story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually were in the UAE the first night of the first kosher restaurant there.
Wow.
Thank God. If we would have been there a week earlier, we would not have any food.
Wow.
So I sum it up this way. The UAE experience for me was a day school / yeshiva league high school kid,
Okay.
in reference to myself, realizing that there are members of the Arab community on this globe who are not only anxious to live in peace with others, including us Jews, but pursue living in peace. When I walked around the mall in the UAE in Dubai with a yarmulke, the respect, reverence,
You felt it.
100%.
Really?
And I don't think, because I'm saying they have that for everybody, the fact that you have a yarmulke on your head or you're Jewish is irrelevant. This is how we behave and how we act everywhere.
I remember watching the Shliach's wedding there.
Yeah.
And when I saw the covet and respect that he got, and all from the Muslim, the Arab
He
world.
danced with the...
It is true. What you're saying is true. We don't even realize it.
And we were there, by the way. We did one of the broadcasts from his shul.
Yeah.
And participated in Shacharis that day in his shul. And I said to him, this is unbelievable. You have 80 people for Shacharis. He says, yeah, a month ago it wasn't like this. But,
Oh, really?
But are you kidding?
Overnight.
Oh, the boom once the Abraham Accords were announced.
That was tourists or business people?
Both.
Wow. It's
Yeah, I
fascinating.
think like there's a community of people there. Though.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
And now the food scene there, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 7 or 8 restaurants
that
there. I
many
think
already?
so. Yes,
Wow.
they really are.
Wow.
So have you been back since, or
No.
that was the one time?
No.
How many times did you go to Israel this year?
Oh, God. Well, this year, 2 or 3, but... I mean,
just 2 or 3.
It's more limiting.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You're like, oh, and it's less than usual.
It is, yeah.
yeah, I mean, there have been years where it's been, 5 or 6.
Wow.
But look, Israel, especially as I get older and even more experienced at this, it's not just that it's wonderful to be there, and I believe that it's my number one issue. My number one issue. Your number one issue is, how much date oil and plum honey is available for Rosh Hashanah, and I get that, right? That whole industry keeps you guys going.
Yeah.
I believe my mission and my number one issue is reminding everybody that the future of the Jewish people is in the state of Israel. That's it. So we'd love to go as often as possible, bridge the gap between Israel and diaspora. But now I realize, as I go in this era, the chomer, the material, the guests, the possibilities of who to speak to, who to cover, etc. It's unbelievable.
Unlimited.
It's an ocean over there in Israel, and we just did. I was there for 3 weeks, but one of those weeks was Pesach. But the week before and the week after Pesach, we just had unbelievable shows with incredible guests.
That's incredible.
Wonderful authors.
And you do it live also there?
Yeah, sure.
But it's
1 to
same
4
for
p.m.
us.
1 to 4 p.m. Oh, wow.
It's a lot different.
That's so
yes.
interesting.
Can't wait for Aliyah.
That's amazing. Are you planning to move to
We
Israel?
are planning on moving sometime between the end of 2026 and the summer of 27. Please God, please God.
Wow.
But talking about bridging the gaps, I mean, I guess I'm talking about bridging the gaps, but you were just about Israel, and I'm thinking food. I'm like, the food scene there is crazy. We keep going back to it,
Right.
but I actually remember when we did an interview a couple of years back with Nachum in the magazine.
Okay.
And what was the food that he chose as his favorite food?
What do we do? Falafel or shawarma?
I think it
Or
was
both?
falafel. Well, maybe it was both, but I remember we got a picture of you with Israeli food, or yeah,
What's
we
your
could say Israeli
favorite?
food.
Do you have
Yeah,
a
why
favorite
not?
shawarma spot in Israel in Yerushalayim?
Well, hello Teman is.
I know, that's
Yeah.
the classic.
Again, the freshness.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
Although they do
falafel.
say that there's a place in Bnei Brak, right? The border of Bnei Brak and Ramat
Yes,
Gan.
yes.
That is the best shawarma in Israel.
is it
I
called?
can't remember the name
on
of it.
Akiva Street.
It's like in a gas station or outside a gas station.
No, outside the gas station. I think that.
Well, that's Hello Teman in Yerushalayim, but I think there's one on the border of Ramat Gan and Bnei Brak they always talk about.
How about falafel?
Israel's food, all the falafel in Israel is fantastic because
Yeah.
they know how to make it.
Well, you have in the shuk, there's like this competing. There's like the
Right.
green one with
Correct.
the herbs or without.
I mean, the green
There's
is
the
the best.
fun one, the Yemenite place.
Yes,
that
there's a
we went.
Yemenite hole-in-the-wall falafel place in Yerushalayim. My son learned in Israel, and he took us there. They make fresh bread.
It's also a Yemenite place. It's
yeah,
interesting.
very good.
And on Fridays
So
they make the
good.
bread with the. We wrote all about it
Saluf or something.
saluf is the
Yeah,
bread.
Yeah, it's the special.
It's
bread.
like the lafa with the zatar.
Wow.
Yeah,
There's so
Israel
much
is-
good food in Israel.
People don't know. I feel like Israel. Forget about kosher. Israel can compete on the world's culinary stage.
Oh yes.
But I don't know that it has that reputation
Right. Not
in
yet.
the world.
Not yet.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see the Israeli chefs are, besides coming to the States, they're
Yeah.
all over there, or
That's
Europe
true.
and
The
Asia.
food has expanded outside of Israel
Right.
because there's so many Israeli restaurants that are so big and popular that
Not
aren't
necessarily
kosher,
kosher, right?
And
but they are
haven't,
making waves. Like Michael Solomonov
Right.
in Philly, he transformed the place with Israeli food, basically.
Yeah. Mayor Adoni's, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Singapore. I think he has Germany. He has
Yeah,
some
it's pretty
interesting
interesting.
places. He's
Yeah.
actually working on a kosher
And
one
we
here in the States.
we interviewed Ayal Shani a few weeks ago. So he got a Michelin star for Shmona, but then we went to Malka in Brooklyn. Did you
No,
go to
I've
this
been
place?
there, yeah.
Okay, so we're sitting
Wow.
there. And
What an experience!
yeah. Well, we sat at the bar because we didn't make a reservation and they were full to capacity.
No,
When-
we made a reservation, but that was all they had.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they
Fine.
fill up.
Anyway, so we're sitting there. We were there for maybe an hour and a half. The entire time, there were two bartenders, did not stop making cocktails.
Oh my God.
And as a Jew, I was just sitting there counting money. And I'm like, do you know how much money
We're
is
not
coming
known for
in?
the bar being the most active part of the
I
restaurant.
know, and I was
Really
very
not.
surprised. And they weren't stopping.
But I think the most
And it's
fascinating thing.
literally, by the way, 2 tablespoons of like
alcohol.
tequila is going in, water and ice, shaking. And I'm like, okay, $1, $20, $19. Okay.
Yeah, but you would have had a blast with the music that was there because that vibe, they had a DJ and the place was just on wheels.
It's so funny you're saying this because we were at, I think it's a new restaurant, Coney Island Avenue called Sautéed. It's a Chinese
Yes,
place.
yes.
Okay.
So a friend of ours said you must go to this place because of all, and there's a lot of kosher Chinese places.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But of all the kosher Chinese places, you have no idea how good the food is there. So we went. The food was spectacular.
Really?
But
check it out.
as I pointed out to my wife, I cannot sit in a restaurant when music is playing.
Oh yeah,
I
You
don't
like the
enjoy
It's
quiet.
distracting.
Now it could be my age. I don't
By the
know.
way,
It could be, you know.
you know, when we were 18, we were able to like blast the music on the highest and have full conversations. Now, if we have to chat, the music goes off.
Exactly. So I don't know if I would have enjoyed the musical experience, but everything in
You
context.
certainly would not have. I think I know.
I was like,
after here.
Shlomi, what do you want to order?
Yeah, you literally can't hear each other. But no, it definitely is a vibe. But no, I do get. There are times you want to go to a restaurant and you just want to have. You can have some nice soft music
Correct.
in the background.
If you
can
lower the
actually
music,
talk.
it's not so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do want to have some type of conversation.
But the city is not really known for restaurants that are quiet because even if they don't have tons of like loud music, you're really very close to on top of each other.
right. That's
do
why
you
I
have
like.
like a go-to place in the city?
Well, it's all about space.
Okay.
I always joke with my kids about it. It's all about space.
you want to be comfortable.
Yeah, Mr.
Priority
Broadway.
number one.
Mr.
Oh, Mr.
Broadway's
Broadway,
got
that's
space.
nice. Yeah.
It's got a lot of place to sit.
Since they renovated.
And since I renovated,
Yeah.
certainly. And in
Yeah.
general, it's always been a big space. Even their old Mr. Broadway is a big space.
Yeah, you're right.
So that comes to mind. And the old Dougie's in Brooklyn was like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Very
Space.
large. You
Yeah,
know,
that was.
I'm trying to think if there's anything that, I mean, some restaurants you go into these days and there's space naturally because it's just not, it's not, either you go on a Monday night or it's not that popular.
What's your favorite just fleishik food overall?
Well, I think that if I was on a desert island
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
and they
that's-
said to you,
That's a good
you
way
could
to
have
ask the question.
one, what we consider, and you'll see in a minute what I mean, what we consider a meat meal.
Okay.
okay.
One meat meal for the rest of your life every night. This is the
Okay.
one thing that's available.
Charlotte and Kishke.
It would be chicken wings.
Oh,
It would be
okay.
chicken wings.
And is it roasted, glazed, fried?
Oh, so the other night, where did we get the chicken? Oh, I got chicken wings the other night from Holy Schnitzel on 18th Avenue.
Okay.
And I ordered 2 different types. One was sweet chili,
Okay.
which I love sweet chili sauce. And the other one was regular barbecue wings. And both were excellent.
They're grilled or fried? They're grilled.
No, they're grilled.
Grilled.
Oh, okay.
So-
But we should order
By the way-
him a Smash House for the way out.
Oh,
Get
yes.
him an order of the lemon pepper
Yes,
wings.
you know what
with
we're
a
going to
side
do
of
that.
their sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a
Great.
Smash House burger because there's a
Okay.
Smash House in Manhattan now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But there's one right across the street from our studio here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What don't you have in this area?
5 times these days is
Five
pretty
times is-
happening. Yeah.
I call it like it's like a Jewish utopia here.
We actually have
There's like
another one.
Israeli flags on the street. And the whole entire avenue is like full of kosher stores, Jewish stores. It's quiet here on Shabbos. It's a very interesting community.
Someone said to me the other day, and I don't know if you agree or not, because I spend very little time down there. Someone said Lakewood today makes the 5 towns look like it has no kosher restaurants.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's true. Not just
definitely.
restaurants.
No, but also Lakewood.
Lakewood is
everything
bigger than
very
Brooklyn.
fancy. So you think you come
Space.
to Five Towns has a
Space,
reputation
right.
as like a very wealthy upscale
Yeah, you see
area.
these bagel stores opening and they have like
yeah.
3 floor ceilings.
And not to bring this conversation down, but a rabbinic leader said from a specific community, which I won't mention, said to me this week, "They're coming for us." I said, "What do you mean?"
Who's they?
That's what do you mean? He says, "This community is now becoming Lakewoodized."
Where's that?
I won't mention it, but meaning, of course, the fancier restaurants and the big shopping and
got
et cetera, et cetera. And some of the people don't love it. Even some of the Lakewood people don't love it. You know.
Oh, no, but
100%.
Lakewood is actually
Because
very
there
interesting.
is- yeah, it's just interesting. There is that boundary where it does get too much.
Right.
But
So-
you do. It's
You know what?
reflected
You know
in
what grew like this? I wonder if you agree because
Yeah.
you're real insiders. You know what grew like this but never got too much? Crown Heights. They had like just
Yeah, we had-
they grew with these restaurants.
And then it
on
went
the food scene.
Is that what happened?
Yes,
little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it hit a plateau and stayed there for a while.
No, the things like
I think
dropped a little
COVID
bit.
kind of made a mess.
I think so.
Restaurants had a hard time, and a lot of guys didn't come back.
So
from
are there
that.
no go-tos now? In
No, there is,
There
but not as
definitely
much.
is,
Not
and
as
there's
much.
there's the stuff that outlasted.
Right.
You know, I think Buff and Bun is still like rocking their stuff.
Izzy's is still.
Yeah.
But no, Crown Heights
still-
used
but
to be a
it did-
destination
yeah,
place,
it
like to go for
changed.
restaurants. I think now Five Towns is one.
Yeah, 5 times. with the
Muncie
Doma
has
group.
gotten a few new places.
Yeah,
And
Muncie
Lakewood-
used to have, in
Lakewood
my
has
day, Muncie had no
Montas,
kosher
and
restaurants.
And now you have a bunch.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable
You have
what
some
they
really
have now.
high end stuff there too.
It's very cool. But there is that thing, like as a granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, I always do think like I have that like fear of like life is too good. You know, we
I'll
just
just
went.
If you don't think I think about this all the time.
I think right now we're all thinking it.
My mother left Germany right around Kristallnacht.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, my parents can both be classified as refugees.
Got
right,
it.
my father used to describe to us that he would get in Palestine, in Jerusalem, he would get 2 pieces of bread and soup per day to eat.
Wow.
So he would eat soup and 1 slice of bread for lunch and save the slice of bread for dinner. That was his menu.
I wonder what
And
his favorite Fleischig meal would have been.
And he always said to me, you have no idea how filling soup can be.
Wow.
And every time I order soup, and I love thick vegetable soup, every time I order soup, I think of him, how this was all that he had to eat, and thank God he was able to get up from the table and feel full once a
It's
day.
insane.
Yeah, it really
Times have
gives you
changed.
perspective.
Where's your favorite soup from?
You know who makes?
I have one in mind for
Do you know
me.
who
That's why I'm
makes
asking.
great
you.
soup?
Let's hear it.
And coincidentally, we're this close to his place.
Okay.
Got to get a bagel. Makes fantastic
okay,
soup.
Sure, you have to try
Okay.
that.
Thick vegetable soup, always variety of 2-3 soups, and I'm always impressed with what he has.
You
over
had
there.
one in the city. Now that I'm not sure if they're back in the city. I think they might have been. Mendy's split pea soup.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always.
So I get it whenever I'm at
gets
Crown
it all the
Heights.
time.
It's like my mushagas.
And their chicken gumbo is also good.
Mendy's has lasted a long time in the museum.
So I think
Yes.
in the city, COVID kind of shut them down. I
Right.
think I saw something about them coming back. I know they were definitely doing to-go orders like on Uber Eats or something.
well, the corner of Lexington and 30th has a Mendy's.
Yeah. Oh, so there is.
That's
It
probably
is
the
there.
place where they.
So
but
we're-
the
We gotta get a
museum
bagel,
one
we
has
gotta
been
go try
around
the
a while.
soup.
And you must tell me,
Okay.
because my wife and I are so impressed with this restaurant.
Okay.
Is that restaurant next to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel doing well or not? What's the name of it? It's Cork.
Bison Bourbon.
Bison Bourbon. Right.
Yeah.
Is
Bison
it doing
Bourbon
well?
is a
Is it
beautiful
a strange
place.
location or not?
It is a strange,
So
but
the-
it's close to Borough Park. It's close to Crown Heights.
So it's a
like-
It's not far
destination.
from the city either.
Well, it's
Yeah.
right. The city is
It's like
fantastic.
you live in Brooklyn. You don't want to drive to the city, but you want to go somewhere that feels like you went out.
Right.
That's the one.
And they
So
have
that's
a vibe.
why they do well.
They really
because it
have
has
a
such a
vibe.
great vibe.
So there are plenty of nights where they have plenty of people there.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Interesting. Their food is fantastic.
They also make a lot of parties. It's a great party
Ah.
spot. I went
They have
to a
space.
wedding there.
They
Someone
have
made a
space.
wedding there.
A wedding?
Like a nice, small, intimate wedding.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cool.
So it's
They
like
also
one
now
of
they
those locations.
they even expanded. They have a separate hall 2 doors down.
Yeah.
It actually is. Yes, it's a very popular place.
Interesting.
Great vibe.
So where could people find your book?
Oh, so the book is available at a number of Judaica
That was
stores.
a very jarring thing. You know, you'll give me tips after how to transition from one conversation to another. But I wanted to just finish off by letting people know about where to get your book and
I
where
appreciate
to listen
that.
to your
The Judaica
morning
stores
show.
in Teaneck and the Judaica store, Eichler Superstore in Coney Island
I love
Avenue
it.
has it. We really should get into the one here. I know you have a couple of big
Yeah,
Judaica
there's great
stores right
stores
here.
here, yeah.
We got to get into here. But
We'll talk after the show. We can help with that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure.
But
Did you self-publish?
we self-publish,
Wow.
and the king...
Is it on Amazon?
Correct. The
Of
king
course.
of the whole self-publishing industry is our friends at Amazon.
Okay.
Where we've sold a lot, and that's a paperback edition, which is just as good for reading purposes as this
Right.
one. And that's where most of the sales are coming from on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
Just search the name Nachum Segal.
Exactly. And where could people follow you and listen to your morning broadcast?
So they can easily install. It takes about a second
Oh, it's an app.
in their phone or iPad
Nachum
or
Segal
whatever.
Network
The
app.
Nachum Segal Network app, and tune in every morning.
Is it free?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
100%.
nice. Okay,
But they
lovely.
can also just go online and
NachumSegal.com, sure.
NachumSegal.com.
Okay, love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
A pleasure.
It was really nice. We look forward to reading the book.
Thank you.
Where'd you
And-
park? Because I think I'm going to put in an order by Smash House.
I got to
Yeah.
tell you something.
I'm gonna
When
join
I
you.
saw a space available in front
Oh,
of
you-
Central Perk Cafe,
you grabbed it.
my good friend Maish, I said, I don't know how far this place is on Central Avenue, but I'm taking that
By the way,
space.
wrapping
That's a
full
good
circles,
spot.
Moish used to own a Doggies.
Correct, the one in
Queens.
Brooklyn.
Queens,
And so
Queens.
he has a very good blooming onion.
Right.
He does, because he knows the original
Correct.
recipe.
I've had it there. I've had it
Yes.
there. By the way, kudos to him. I don't know how it's been many, many years. Again, I don't know if we would brand the whole era the Central Perk era, but he has made his mark.
Oh, he definitely has made his mark.
When it comes to great dairy restaurants.
Yes, outstanding.
Oh,
he's
definitely.
He's busy with Shavuos. He's very busy with Shavuos.
I would imagine so.
He does a lot of catering and ready food.
Plain crunchy wings or lemon pepper?
Plain crunchy's great. Thank you.
For those that don't know what that was, Shifra ordering Nachum some wings.
Lunch.
I mean, you know that there's a custom in the Jewish world, no fleischiks Thursday night. You know that, or if you do, it has to be at midnight.
Do you do the
It's
power
still
of
early
cheese?
enough.
Do you do the power of cheese? Do you like it?
I had a parv cheeseburger. I'm trying to think where. Maybe Smash House?
I'm saying
do they have it?
They have
Smash
it.
House?
I'm going to get you a combo lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, vegan cheese, no vegan cheese. Some people love it. Some people hate it.
No.
You're like, of course.
On a burger, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I know, me too. But
Are
I'm
you
just
kidding?
asking.
I mean, it's amazing. For 50 years, I dreamed about it, and here it is.
Yeah, French fries or crispy onions.
Crispy
I'm
onions.
taking this very seriously.
Crispy onions. I like the fact that you
They
take
have
it
very
seriously.
good crispy onions.
You see, I made the
By
right
the way,
choice.
Diet Coke. Like overcooked.
That you don't have to worry about, unless it's part of the combo.
It's part of the combo.
Yeah, sure, Diet Coke. Why
Hey,
not?
Nachum, did you ever do this? Did you ever finish off an episode ordering food? That's it, man. This is crazy. This has been great. Thank you for coming, Nachum. We will give you, off air, we'll tell you how you can pick up your food.
Yes, that would be helpful.
We'll walk over with you and come pick it up.
They're not Uber Eats to get to my car.
That was amazing. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. And we look forward to more episodes, concerts, and hopefully soon permanently out of Eretz Yisrael, out of Yerushalayim. Where in Eretz Yisrael?
Please, God.
amen.
Well, both our kids now are living in Jerusalem, so we're assuming so.
Shouldn't be Lashon Haba Yerushalayim. Should be
Lashon
Lashon
Hazos, like Rav Goren said.
That's right.
So, are we scheduling? Excuse me for prying.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's
Are
go.
we scheduling a 2025 Kosher Palooza?
100%.
Oh, yes.
We are?
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? We have 30 seconds left.
So we should know about it by now, no?
Okay, so the issue is that we were actually about to close for after the summer because we had to change the location in
Nice.
in American Dream.
Wow.
And
What a great idea.
There was a bit of, it's not a complication, it's a good complication, but there was going to be, in addition to the whole program and the whole day of events, that would mean much more people.
Right.
And we just have this debate whether we can fit in the American Dream because they have a conference center coming for 2026.
Wow.
But it's
they're
not
not
ready
sure it's
now.
gonna
So
be
we're
a-
still up in the air if it's going to be September, first week of September in American Dream or second week of November in Meadowlands. We will keep you posted. We'll keep everyone posted. But Kosher Palooza is definitely happening.
Well, there are going to be a lot of very happy people.
Yeah.
Not only have you created an event which attracts so many different parts of the community, and I mean that in terms of the industry, but in addition to that, you've created an event that people are excited about. And that's always incredible. And
Well, it's pretty easy when you're dealing with food. People are excited about food.
yeah, I know you think that, but not everyone always gets excited about Jewish events. But yours, for some reason, they really gravitate toward. I'll tell you that much.
Right. All right. That was awesome. I am going to cut it over here.
A pleasure.
This episode is brought to you by Kosherdotcom, our partners on this podcast, and a really good resource online for recipes, shows, food content, Torah content, Jewish content.
Essentially all kosher content, the hub of kosher.
And while we like to focus on print, Kosherdotcom has really taken the digital side
Yeah.
really, really well. And there are just so many fun kosher options, both kosher literally
Yeah.
in a kashrus world, but also kosher in a way that's
And we've
accessible
been
and good
posting
for-
some of our travel content on kosher.com. So
There
that's
you
a
go.
fun one.
That's a fun one. Our travel content is only in the magazine.
It's-
The only other place you can get it, we get people requesting
Yeah.
it a lot, is on kosher.com.
It's some of our favorite itineraries are there. We did one on Deal, New Jersey. So that was recently posted. That's a good one. So there's a lot of great content. Visit kosher.com for all your kosher recipe and entertainment needs.
This episode is brought to you by Eden Foods Ume Plum Vinegar. I was going to say, correct me if I'm saying it wrong, but I for sure am saying it wrong. So
Plume.
Shifra,
It's plume.
Eden Foods Ume Plum Vinegar. Shifra, what is
Okay.
this? Because
So it's a very
yeah.
cool Japanese product. I think, by the way, it's not like I know how to say ume plum. I'm not sure.
You may not know how, but
it's
whatever you say
Japanese-
sounds like you know what you're saying.
Okay, that's a skill I have.
Yes.
Okay, so Japanese pickled plums. They're a very unique product. We actually did a recipe with it in
Are
the
they
upcoming
sweet or
summer
savory?
issue. It's like fruity and it's fermented and salty. And so they take that fruit and they make a vinegar out of it.
So they ferment it.
And it's a fruity, like fermented-ish vinegar, and it just adds a very unique flavor to your vinaigrettes. You can also mix it with a little bit of soy sauce and then like put it over like a tuna crudo or a tuna
So it's
tataki.
used in like Asian foods?
It's a Japanese ingredient.
Japanese.
Yeah, but you can use it in anything, and it's a really nice vinegar just to add that little something special to your vinaigrette or a marinade.
What did we use it in the summer?
So we used it we made yakitori, so it's traditional Japanese skewers, and we made atare, which is a special dipping sauce that glazes the chicken and the meat as you're cooking it. Oh, it was so good because you're slowly building the caramelization. Then when you serve it, you drizzle a little bit of this vinegar on top because it just provides that perfect, like, fruity, salty vinegar counterbalance to the sweet glazed yakitori. It was really good.
I'm remembering that barbecue.
Right?
I got a little bit hungry now. Anyway, so Ume Plum Vinegar, fun product from Eden Foods, with a kosher certified in your local kosher supermarket. I did see this in Gourmet Glatt, or your other supermarkets, or on edenfoods.com. This episode is brought to you by Della Rosa's 100% organic grape juice. It comes in.
This is it. Wow.
This is it. Wow. This is it. They do a red grape juice. They also do a white grape juice.
Okay.
What are the things?
It's organic.
It's organic. I think the big hop here is that it's organic.
Produced and bottled in
Austria.
Okay.
So yes.
Is Austria known for their grapes?
I guess they must be known for their grape juice. Whatever the story is, listen. Organic foods are definitely very in. People are more health conscious and they're trying to do things just a little better.
People are more educated about where their food is coming from.
So I feel like, here you go, one of a kind, 100% organic red grape juice made with organic Merlot, Zweigelt, and Pinot Noir grapes. Artisanal, small batch, crafted. Okay, great product from Della Rosa, organic grape juice. Check them out.
It's kosher, it's Glatt. You're listening to Glatt. It's all